phone. The next session is going to be a little bit of a complicated version of the day, but it will be very exciting. It will be a panel that will talk about beyond firewalls and safeguarding the digital feature of shipping. And the moderator is one of the two gentlemen that they were in the video before, Manos, Manoli, and the rest of the gang will talk about beyond firewalls. So let me start by trying to invite the people. Can we have Chris Watson, except of the first? Can I call Marios? Marios, please sit away from the other Marios, yes, because then we will mix to whom I'm addressing. Yes. He tried to come also along, so that's what I'm trying to avoid. Make sure that we make two Marios away from each other. Hi, are you ready, Marios? Please join us. Captain Nicolaos, Karimalis, please join us on the podium. Thank you. And Aristos, Athinodorou, please join us also on the panel. Thank you for coming today.
Hi.
I will try to make it a little bit on the fast forward. And therefore, before me taking a lengthy introduction process, please, when I'm addressing you, you can introduce yourself better and say where you're coming from. Already, some of you have even had a presentation anyhow, and people get to know you. But let me start very quickly with the questions. So the first question says that worldwide cybersecurity incidents are increasing. To what extent do you see regulatory compliance like IMO and IS2, ISO 27001/2022, which I'm happening to be an internal auditor, driving actually improvements in cyber resilience versus it being a box of ticking exercises is something that Marios has mentioned before. And before coming to you, Chris, I mean, I've been talking around 2005. I remember that in 2005, I made a presentation of how you could hack Inmarsat and send a message on board vessel without charging.
They must have loved that.
Yes. So Inmarsat didn't like me then. Now they do. So security has been evolved and changed again. But if you Google cybersecurity and shipping, you will see that, first of all, most of the bigger shipping companies, at least the first biggest shipping companies, 8 out of 10 have been somehow out of this, let's say, time, somehow hacked or manipulated by cyber criminals at some stage. So the incidents are increasing. We are making more regulations, more cybersecurity checks, penetration tests, intrusion preventions. I can go on and on and on and on. See, since that, there's no slowing down the bad guys. So is that going to change, Chris, eventually?
I don't know that anything is going to slow down the bad guys. I think that the regulations, one of the benefits of the regulations is raising awareness. Mm-hmm. You know, I spoke earlier about in the U.S., there are a lot of U.S. fleets that just have never really had to think about this, and the new U.S. Coast Guard regs are forcing them to. They have to pay attention to it because there are teeth to the regulations. It can impact your business. Forget about a successful attack. Just if you don't meet those regulations, your business can be hurt by that. I think that some of the regulations that are going into place, like NIS2 goes beyond just the checkbox, mm-hmm, because there is executive. There's an expectation of executive commitment, mm-hmm, to that. So the executives are on the hook. So it's not just, did I check the box? It's from the top down, is this becoming sort of the way that we approach business? Are we constantly thinking about cybersecurity? And I think the regs are helping with that.
Cool. Marios, I heard your presentation before. I would like a yes answer for you before I make the question. Yes. If I do comply with ISO 27001 and NIS2, does that guarantee that it will not be hacked in the future?
There is no guarantee actually that you will always be a target, and the bigger you become, that means the NIS2 touches you, the best target you will be. So
Yes.
the more attractive target you will be.
Correct.
That means, but it comes also the opposite side of about the small companies that there was a discussion before at the presentation. I am a small company and nobody is going to touch me. The point is that if you are a small company and you have this type of attack, you will not survive.
Correct. Correct.
The difference for the big company is that it's going to have an impact, a huge impact. And this is where the NIS2 comes and safeguards the economy and the society in general of a country. That's why it was enforced, actually. So it's a combination of stability in the country and financial stability of a country, plus all the rest of the the legislation that needs to be followed. Okay.
Very cool. Marios.
Hi.
You are somehow providing cybersecurity solutions, and you're actually some of the stage you are actually selling some part of the cybersecurity resilience.
Correct.
So what do you think? What do you tell to your shipping clients when it comes to cybersecurity? What is the result that you're selling?
First of all, many thanks for being here, CSN and the rest of the panel. We don't somehow, we breathe, we sleep, sometimes we don't sleep. Yes, it's our oxygen, cybersecurity. Going back to the first question and then to your comment, yes, IMO and NIS2 can drive genuine results and improvements within a shipping organization, as they do in many organizations that are considered as critical infrastructure. Strategic or not, it has been elevated to a strategic and board level decision. And I can go back to 25 years ago that we met, and the IT was in most companies at -1 next to the data center, and was the team of people taking care of some applications and email. And it has elevated itself as a strategic member of the board of directors with initiatives in the digitalization. The same happened with the opening and the extension of the use of technologies in the later years. Yes, exposed to cyber attacks as well, and moving up to the agenda of the board. In this respect, now it is there. So it is a matter of going a top-down approach, keeping it at the board level, pushing it down to the people, policies, and of course technologies within there, embedded, and it will all come down to the human factor. People are taking the decisions, people are choosing their cyber security services in this respect. So, and in this modern world that we want to include the newcomers, the new employees, the younger generation, we need to be cyber security agnostic. We need to keep it in the heart of the organization, but also enforce it out there.
Correct.
With a number of techniques, and also, yes, keeping it in an ecosystem within the organization. Yes, you go for best of breed in terms of your legal advisors, your cybersecurity consultants, you're the best accountants in the market. So choose who you want to be next to so that you can go far and safe and enjoy the ride. Nobody's going to go out of the shipping industry because cyber attacks are there. No, it gets a bit more complicated, but stretching out,
sometimes.
yes, you just stretch out, you reach out to the experts, and you can go far and safe.
Amazing. The next question is, what are the most significant vulnerabilities currently threatening shore and vessel infrastructure, and how are these being addressed? Before I give the question to Aristos, and I will say that obviously someone in the presentation said that Starlink changed the world of shipping, and I totally agree with it. There is a time now where there's no difference between a shore installation and a ship installation. Some of them will think, why on earth do you want to attack a vessel, and why do you want to actually send malware or ransomware or do phishing on a ship? It's a very, very, very long answer, which I'm not going to give. And how complicated it went from one point to the other. So, Aristos, what do you feel and see that is the most significant vulnerabilities currently threatening shoring vessels?
So thank you, Manos and the CSN Group for hosting me here. Basically, the most important factor that makes the shore and the vessels vulnerable is the human factor. We are people and we make mistakes. Every day it's a new day for us. Sometimes we're very tired. Sometimes we don't feel very well. And even the most expert person can make the mistake and leave a vulnerability in the system, either during a patching or either during a daily operations like reading an email or yes. And the most important thing now I have to add is that with AI, emails and phishing attacks are getting more sophisticated and they are very, very close to a human person.
Correct.
So a member of the vessel or crew member can easily be tricked and allow an attack inside the vessel, or same applies to the shore, to the
ships.
To ships and the company also.
Very, very well said. And it's part of my security awareness that I do also to people and seafarers. And I say that I can program a big number of firewalls, I can program intrusion prevention systems, and I can program, I don't know, different software, sandboxing, etc. But something that we cannot program as IT people is humans. We humans have a major flaw, and that flaw is called trust. We're actually programmed to trust, and especially if you look at small communities. If you look at Cyprus, I mean, my grandmother used to leave the door open on the house and go around the neighborhood and talk about the other ladies leaving the door open, and everyone could actually walk in her house and out. My father, when I was a kid, never used to take the keys out of the car. So you cannot fix that flaw. So human factor, you're absolutely right, is a very contributing, let's say, flaw where the cyber criminals are actually taking over. And before I ask you, Chris, I mean, look at the cases where we have two major attacks on ships and vessels. They actually tried to attack a vessel of a very well-known company. I will not name the company now. They failed. And then they attacked the development team of another company that was doing a software for that ship. They changed the source code of the software, and then when the company was forced to set that software on the vessel, there was a door open, and that happened in two different cases. And the second case, the one was a Greek company, the second one was a German software for vessel company, will not mention the name. When there was a door open, 1,500 ships were actually had a door open for cyber criminality. What do you think, Chris?
I would absolutely agree with you, Aristos, that the human factor, is a big part of that. And I think in addition to the trust, Manos, there's curiosity. Mm-hmm. People tend to be curious. I remember a number of years ago, there was actually a test that was done where thumb drives, the little flash drives, were loaded with, fake malicious data, and those thumb drives were left around for people to pick up. And the people who were most likely to take that thumb drive and put it into the computer and potentially infect their computer were the IT people who were really curious about what was on there. But then there's all the education. You don't see thumb drives as much anymore. I think that training at every single level is so important, because I think when you're talking about ships, we can probably all agree that most of the equipment that is on board ships are not designed with cybersecurity in mind. You know, I mean, these are ships that have been in operation for 5, 10, 20 years. And how do you work with the people on board and the people on shore to try and block, to try and protect that? Because we've seen, not having to do with cyber particularly, but the Port of Baltimore, the accident there, the Suez Canal, one ship having a problem can disrupt the entire global supply chain. So it's vital that we be looking at that, and it really comes down to the people. I mean, as you were talking about earlier, I mean, with the phishing, the smishing, the vishing, there are so many ways, and that social intelligence of looking at what are you putting on social media, what is out there in public statements by your company, and the malicious actors being able to create things that are so incredibly sophisticated that they can fool you 9 times out of 10. It's really, really important that training, is going on all the time. My company does that all the time. We're constantly getting quizzes. They're constantly sending us fake emails to see whether or not someone's going to mess up and actually click on the link. And it's just, part of the ongoing corporate environment that we have.
Thank you, Chris. The next question is also very, very critical and important, and I wanted to talk a little bit about SOCs and how quickly you can find out that something is not going well in your network. During some of my seminars that we do, some case, I wish I could do that today, but unfortunately we don't have the time. I bring a company laptop, and I bring a malware or a ransomware on a USB. And I intentionally infect that laptop with a ransomware in front of the audience. And then I show to the people what happens. And then we go to the next question. And I know, Marios, you have it, but I wanted to see a little bit expanded view on how do you react on that. How important is continuous monitoring and threat intelligence in maintaining the security? And I was aiming a little bit to the SOC.
Okay, so let's decode first the SOC, because I don't know if it's Security Operations Center.
Correct.
That means the Security Operations Center, actually it's a set of tools, processes, and people, let's say, that assist the proactive part of the cybersecurity. That means detecting earlier through the systems that I have presented before, through event management systems, and set every day new thresholds based on the business. So it's not just a cybersecurity thing, it's not just technical thing. They need to know the business, the normal behavior of a business, and what is not normal. So this is how you detect actually that you have an attack in your organization. There is no other way around. Neither you see the after effect, so you react, or proactively, if you want, you create scenarios based on your business. What is the normal? You put this threshold based on this data, so you need this data. Now, it's really important. Why? Because also now, there is a huge gap on the OT side, that also the ships, and I think persons that they are in the shipping industry before me, they know it better than I do. So the OTs is a really huge gap. And there is a tense now with all these new regulations about the environments, with all this, to connect these systems. And the problem comes to there is maturity in security operations centers, and you can find expertise, let's say, if you pay well, you can find this expertise on the IT side. But what happens with the OT side is a really tricky part of a security operations center for maritime industry. That's a new thing that comes up. No asset inventory enriched, because our ships that are really old. The vendors now of ships, they are creating a really comprehensive document based on IAX 27. They have everything mapped. They give you sufficient information, but the old ones do not have all the information about the OT systems. What softwares they are running, what versions they are running. All these stuff are important. That means you don't know your organization really well. Right. And that comes back with the threshold, that comes back with the business, that comes back how I will detect the deviation if I don't know what I have.
The deviation is.
And that's Muhammad Ali was saying really well, saying the hands cannot hit what the eyes cannot see.
Correct.
So
Correct.
this is how it goes always.
Marios, I try to be very careful not to name the organization, but I have been part of the fact-finding of an incident into an organization who is, let's say, mission critical for the state. That organization had an incident on Friday, 2000. So 8 o'clock in the night on Friday, they had an incident. They found out that nothing was working on a Monday morning. And that was a mission critical for the state organization. So what do you think about SOCs and being able to know that you're under attack immediately? And do you provide this service as a company?
Thank you for the question. Going to the first part of it, if it is a mission-critical application in a state, then they should be covered 100%. So it's not a matter of just tagging an application, a department, a function as critical, as long as you treat it as critical.
Correct.
So going to the second part, Adacom, so managed SOC, manages more than 120 customers in Greece, Cyprus, and in Southeastern Europe. This is not only tools. Tools, you can get the tools from many vendors and multiple resources. It's about how do you engage with the tools, how do you manage the tools, how you utilize the tools, connected with the right teams, the preventive incident response teams, the emergency response teams. As Mario said, yes, things happen, but the main aim of our policy making and the security by design, as Altani mentioned earlier on, is to prevent. Yes, once things happen, you need to manage the impact. It's also a communication thing. It's also to see the impact and not having it after 48 hours. For our engineers and analysts, having an incident on a Friday evening is much better than a Monday morning. It's going back to the human factor. Yes, we're all talking humans. They are much more relaxed working at that time of the day with not too many emails, Altani coming in and out on the analyst nest for many things. And this is where you see those people that I'm never jealous of these people. I love being in sales, that they should be quiet, they know the procedures, everything is well documented on a policy making, and this is how you react. And this is where you provide the comfort level for the customer. Because yes, there is people need to be notified on the impact, what to do, what not to do. It's very important, everything to be notified, and you need to get the stress level not coming from your cybersecurity consultant. You need and getting over the bridge, as we say. So if it is mission critical, you have to treat it as mission critical, and not just document it and feel like it is mission critical.
Correct. Captain Nicolaos, is everything on board critical or not really?
In reality, everything is critical because it's an asset. If you have a failed system, then the asset fails. That's why SOLAS was created as a standard. And part of the mitigation action, what was? Double equipment. So that's why you have two exits. In case the first will fail, to have a backup.
Correct.
In case a pump will fail, a second pump will be available. Of course, there are some systems that you cannot have double by design, main engine, steering gear, or in our cases, cybersecurity.
Correct. Very, very important feedback. So moving to the next question is that what steps can business take to prepare for cyber risk associated with new technologies without slowing down innovation? And how do you turn cyber risk into a board decision? I heard numerous of reactions. Some of the reactions you said the management demands AI out of a spontaneous reaction. Some of the companies that somehow and sometimes they are not really up to the point. They have a lot of difficulties to let's say, put in place or put in real life technology. So at the end of the day, I mean, how do you embed the new technology without slowing down your operations, Captain Nicolaos?
Okay. First of all, I forget, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for the audience being there. I'm deeply sorry, but my anxiety is over the roof. I have my notes here to cheat, but I cannot read them because I don't wear glasses. I tried to convince my wife that I'm not so old.
I brought mine.
So, very, very interesting question. Two parts. Okay. First of all, BOD. What is a BOD? It doesn't matter the size of the company. Small organization, small company, big, etc. Every company have a BOD. It might be one person. It might be 20 or more. Okay. It's the final decision making of the company. I'm talking from the academic side right now. What tools a BOD has in order, board of directors, what tools they have in order to take a decision? If we dig deep from the ancient years, they have only two tools. One is experts, and the other is best practices. Experts. Everybody loves experts, but they are very scarce and very difficult to find, especially nowadays with social media promoting whatever you can imagine. I will make a very small analogy in order to make it even simpler. Imagine a runner. The most difficult decision a runner has to take is what shoe he will wear for his running. He has two options again, because the runner is a BOD. The better he expands, the more difficult decision has to take. Experts, YouTubers, doctors, athletes, coaches, all are these experts. Can they help them? If they are capable, yes, he will cost. They will create a cost. What he can do, best practice, develop a system based on the analytics he has from his watches. The same happens also to the companies. What is a best practice as a flowchart, as a workflow, let's say? It consists of 4 different aspects. Why we have it? Because we need to build once to reuse it a long time, continuously. To build a wall around our assets in order to protect them and to support them. To adopt a measurement system, thank God to Aristotle, okay, in order to assess the best practice. And the third is to assess the performance. Okay? If we take it even deeper in cybersecurity, in order to understand right now the problem for adopting cybersecurity in maritime, we need to address the elephant in the room. What is the biggest problem we have? Nobody can understand the value of cybersecurity. Every maritime organization, I'm talking who manage or own vessels, deal with cybersecurity as an expense. Correct?
Correct.
We cannot interpret to the board the notion of investment. So we cannot build an ROI. That's why we try to develop all the scientists and the experts like you, not me, the new term called ROSI, a very fancy term in order to relate it to ROI. Why? Because the board of directors need to take a decision based on numbers. Following the numbers always beat the fear. Now, about innovation. Okay. You have 3 different things. It doesn't matter the size of the company. Again, every company, regardless of the sector, has 2 main issues to counter: communication and cost to gap, especially small and medium-sized companies. And we must never forget that maritime companies, shipping or management, are always either small or medium. They are never big. Okay? What means communication? Communication is a problem that, in order to speak, correct? You are scientists. I'm an operation guy. I'm an engineer. we operate in an analog signal, let's say. So instead of having two values, 0 and 1, we have all the intermediate values, like quantum physics, quantum processors. Digitalization is the biggest step forward for maritime. Why? Because they work on digits, 0 and 1. This is what we need to incorporate within an organization, and this is the innovation we need to put. We must never forget that the people is there, okay? They are the guys that they eventually will analyze the data. It doesn't matter the applications that we use, and they are the guys that they actually do the job. May I ask a very simple question to the audience? When do you think an AI agent will become part of the payroll of your company? Have you ever imagined that thing? Exactly.
Correct.
So the AI and technology right now is not regarded as a tool. It has developed and evolved to a new species, and actually as a co-worker. And this is the innovation that we need to take.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay.
I can add something
Yes,
on
of
that.
course.
So about the board thing. So the only thing that it was discussed before about how it can be enforced. So actually I see three things. It's like you have to speak what they speak. It's legislation, so compliance, financial impact, and what is going to be the downtime.
Okay.
So those three things are the way I see convincing, let's say, because the question about the board, how we can go on with that. Yeah, I think it's something
Very
really
good.
important to mention because
Very
it's
good.
business impact.
And I'll skip the next question because I will try to embed it in the one after. And because we're running out of time anyhow, I wanted to compare a little bit the small companies and the large companies. I mean, you said something about how much you become a target or not, which I agree at 80%. And I will define myself why there is another 20%. The question says here, before I start addressing the question, it says, what challenges do small and medium-sized shipping-related companies face when adopting cybersecurity technologies? I get on my systems an attack every 6 hours. Every 6 hours, there's a potential guy that wants to play with my network and wants to do stuff. Some of the attacks can be categorized as standard low risk. Some of them are called medium level. Some of them are really clever, and they also embed human reverse engineering. We had a very nice, interesting case last week, which of course it failed. And if we look at my setup and trying to describe it, I can start talking until tomorrow about sandboxing technology, intrusion prevention, layers and layers of firewalls, EDRs, XDRs, whatever, antivirus. My administrators are not administrators in my network. How do they do the job? It's another chapter. Closing all the, I don't know, command prompt from the users, not allowing for everyone GitHub, not allowing everyone to browse anywhere. I can go endlessly. Marios, I wanted to come back to you and then go back to Aristos, because I know this Marios here has it covered. How do you approach a small company? How are you going to make them secure if the prerequisites to keep them alive are so many? And if you tell me, oh, they're not in the risk because they're small, what we are doing now in Marlow, we're trying to educate our clients. Because if someone attacks our client pretending to be Marlow, and if our client has a hit as a small client, and then he pays the bad guy, then it's an indirect hit for us because obviously we'll not have double the money to pay us as well. So how do you approach small companies with cybersecurity solutions?
Firstly, we need to understand what is a small to medium company in the shipping industry. Varies hugely on what is a small to medium company in the Cyprus economy.
I will give you an idea. A small company will have 1 or 2 IT guys.
Great. So these companies, they have a fundamental advantage to other companies. They know their size, first. Second, the decision-making process most of the time is much faster than a big company because of the layers of management. It's much easier to go to the hierarchy, to the top of the company, instead of a complex, huge organization. Thirdly, by being aware, and the self-awareness process is key in this respect, you understand that you need to reach out and get services from the ecosystem. The supply chain is critical here. You will be judged from your customer, you will be judged from the regulatory committees and from compliance officers. So you need to keep up and not lose your business. In the same respect, these companies, they are also going back to their fundamental. They know that they are in shipping. They know their role in the market. So their market is not to be an IT service company, but still they need to function for their users, for their shareholders, and for their customers. And we've seen them reaching out, giving us a service, a lot of their functions as a service, and they need to have strict processes on how to evaluate and choose the correct technologies and the companies bringing them in. And they're becoming a project management office instead of doing it your own, which is with such a small team, it's impossible to do it on your own. And then you actually run projects. It's a project management team, as the captain said, running on the operations. I know my business, which is running a shipping company or a banking or whatever, and I'm giving it outside, but still keeping a strict control on the outcomes, on the results, on what the other companies are bringing in to my organization.
So they are with the approach, I don't know everything about cybersecurity, but my associate and suppliers do. So in conjunction,
I would never trust a person or organization that tells I know everything, I do it all. 0%.
Very well said.
Then
Aristos, what do you think about small companies in cybersecurity?
The major problem about small companies in cybersecurity, I think it's economic. Okay, cybersecurity could be expensive, especially if you bring new technologies in. You have to maintain if you are going to follow the SOC and you want to have a SOC to monitoring you, it's a running cost that they have to put under their in their cash flow yearly or monthly. It depends on how they're going to pay. I think for small companies, they have to begin with basic controls inside within their structure. For example, if they received an email saying that, okay, Mr. Manos will pay, please transfer this money to our new account, our new bank account, and which is this number and blah, blah. They have to put a control and say, okay, I have to phone call Mr. Manos, verify that this has been changed, and then proceed with the payment. That's an example of what I meant about control. Additionally, it's as Mr. Mario said before, asked you before, what do you mean about a small company? If it's 1 or 2 IT guys within this company, do they have the time to maintain the systems, train the employees, and follow up with the technology and all of their jobs? And so I think even in a small company, it's not enough one or two IT guys
to handle
to
that
handle,
external
yes.
help. Yes. Well, I tried to make a small version of our. It was supposed to be a bigger panel and a longer panel, but I think we gave everyone a chance to express their opinion and their questions. I'll try to summarize and conclude with everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you so much for giving you your points, and I think we should call it a day. Thank you so much for being in the panel, and
Thank you, Manos.